All right, so in today's video, we're gonna go over this Eagle battery operated vacuum. It is a 9-gallon wet dry option. This is model WDV-0904. Now you can get this in a tool only option or with a 5-amp battery and a charger. So you have both options. It is a Lowe's sponsored product. Normally what I do is I order online, use my Lowe's credit card, get 5% discount. Once ready, I pick up headache free, or I get it shipped if it's not locally available. So it is a brushless motor with an up to 110 CFM of suction power. It does have 3 settings, low, medium, and high. You have running times between 60, 30, and 20 minutes with a 5-amp battery. You do have a removable filter. You could use it as a blower option. It comes with remote control, plenty of attachments, 7-foot hose, and it does have a 5-year warranty on the unit and 3-year warranty on the battery. So here you have your lock and unlock, which is, pretty sweet. You do have locking wheels, which I like that. These little ones are turn in the front. The back ones are pretty much straight. Okay, this thing rolls really nice. Here you have your locking port for the hose, on and off, turbo, speed, start, stop. Okay. You have here your drain plug. It's got a nice little O-ring in there. Here you have your onboard storage with a nice little green cover. This is one of the attachments for your carpet. You have like a little fuzz down here in the top and bottom. Okay, so it doesn't, scratch any of the surfaces. This is your, kind of like your carpet and your surfaces, little brush. One of my favorite features, this is the remote control. Absolutely beautiful. All right, and you could charge it via USB-C right there. You got a little rubber cover for the elements. You got start, stop, turbo, and your LED, which is pretty cool. It does have a magnet on here, so it goes right on the hose. You got plenty of areas to clip your hose. And we're gonna go over this. Here you're gonna put the hose, and this is, kind of like a cleaning option for your filter. So if you're doing a lot of dust, you wanna clean your filter, you do this up to several times. Pretty much tells you right there. Here goes your battery. You have your spring right there. You have your release right here, and this is good so you don't hit it. The terminals, they're always covered. Accessories, and here is your blowing port. This is your manual. 320-watt charger right here. And what I like about these chargers, I have one of these on the wall. You could put it easily with these 2 little screws and mount it on the wall. You have a nice clean, setup. This is your 5-amp battery. Right. Okay, so we have the 2 little pipes here. All right. Look at this beautiful hose. You gotta hand it to Eagle. They always make everything so well made. All right, so you do have a spinning tip here, which is good, so you don't put a lot of stress on your wrist when you're using any type of attachments. You got your lock release right there. This is where your remote will be mounted, and you would put it towards the tip like that, magnetic. Really, really nice. All right, and then you have here your flow regulator. Okay, and this is absolutely gorgeous. And you could get these if it was to break in the future, you're able to purchase it, okay? And this one also pivots, which is good. Very nice. You got a double lock on it. All right, so this is the bag. Absolutely good quality. It almost feels like it's clothy, not like paper, okay? And normally what I do is once it's at least like halfway full or 3/4, I cut it out, empty it, clean it as much as possible, and bend it and put a clip on it. These get to be a little expensive. You can buy them in different packs, and I'll put some of the links below if you want to check them out. The good thing about it is you could buy the hose, you could buy the bags, and you could buy the filter separately. But you can tell this is a really good quality. All right, so this is another one of your tools for the floor. Same thing little lock right there. And this you can remove, it's pretty standard. You can remove it and replace it. This one has a little brush on it. So you can replace it with the one for, you know, the water. So I'll show you now. This one here. So this is good for, you know, kind of like it's got a little rubber squeegee on there, and you put it on. Okay. And sweet. All right, so if you're gonna do anything with the water, it's perfect. So this one, even though it's 9 gallons, it has a max capacity of 5 gallons if you are gonna be, you know, using it with water. Obviously, you will remove the bag if you're gonna pick up a water, but and I'm super excited about this crevice tool. As you can see, it's kind of transparent, and you have kind of like an optical type of little tunnel right there. So when you put it with the remote control and you light it up, it'll kind of like light up, you know, your work area. So it's pretty cool. All right, snap it in. It's not going anywhere. Turn on the light, as you can see, pretty sweet. Love it. I mean, they really went out of their way to make this very detailed. So this is like great if you're a detailer. Absolutely great vacuum. You don't have to worry about, you know, bringing, you know, your power cords and things like that. All right, to remove any of the accessories, all you have to do is press it and pull out. Using any of these adapters, kind of like the same thing. Lock it in. They don't twist. What twists is it's right here on the end of the hose. One of the things that I noticed that Ego added was kind of like 4 little feet. Okay. So when you're not using it or you need to empty it out, you take it out and it kind of sits nice and flat. All right, so this is the filter that comes with the unit. So you have a lever here that you pull out, and the whole filter comes right out. So if you want to replace it, you know, take it outside, you know, clean it, you know, hit it on the floor a little bit, clean it up, you know, maybe use a little air compressor, and definitely could get these. Almost feels like a, you know, a car air filter. Very good quality. So you get a nice, you know, proper seal. Great. Very simple. You could use pretty much any battery. And here are some of the run times here for all the batteries. You know, these are approximate run times. Okay. Very easy to release it. It kind of springs right out. Okay. All right, so like I mentioned, this is the blower option, and very easy. Locks in on both sides, so you have a nice tight seal. Okay. And it comes right out. Here you have to put your more accessories. Okay. All right, this is where you're going to be putting your crevice tool, storage, power button. Okay. Start, stop. Then you can select your speed, and then turbo. Nice. Or you can turn off the unit with the remote, so you have to power it on, and then you could do turbo, and then start, stop. Okay. So basically, start, stop, turbo. Then when you're done, you just power it off. All right, so to install the hose in the front, very easy. Same thing, locks in, and you're pretty much, you know, good to go. All right, so this is the can. Nice and thick plastic, not much flex. You have these good quality, you know, wheels. And you have storage for the pipes on the bottom, so pretty much everything is self-contained. Grab it here and just kind of like slide it. And that's pretty much it. So once you put the top in, has a little rubber seal here. All right, so this will basically put all your trash inside the bag, and it'll keep your filter nice and clean. All right, so let's go ahead and install the actual vacuum. This is the little nozzle area where it's gonna go into the bag. Everything lines up perfectly. Lock it on both sides. These are our little pipe extenders. right, so here you have a little adapter. So if you want to use a different tip or something like that, I'm assuming you would kind of like insert it here, and you could use the actual, you know, the thinner ones, okay? I believe this is 1 7/8. All right, so to go ahead and clean the filter, this is you're supposed to install this here, turn it on turbo, and hit it several times. So start, stop. That's how you kind of, you know, clean the filter if you are going to be using an environment with a lot of dust. All right, so this is what it looks like. It is, you know, a little bit heavier than your average unit because of the battery and all accessories, you know, being built into the unit. So I did notice that back here is where this one goes. Okay. So. All right, so let's see how loud it is on low, medium, and on high. All right, we got 77.9. Let's see on medium. 84.9. Let's see on turbo. Got 88.1 decibels. I'm inside the garage, so obviously it's a little louder inside the garage. There's a little bit of echo, so if you're outside, some of the sound is going to pretty much travel out. Okay, so as far as the charger goes, very simple. If you've dealt with them before, you know, it's not anything crazy. You have two little lights here, you have indicators. Battery also gives you the indicators. Once you put it to charge, very simple. It lets you also know, and here too. And you have your indicator here if the battery is fully charging, you have any issues with it or overheated. You got the little fan inside. All right, so to charge the remote, very simple. Remove the little rubber cover from there. Your USB-C, plug it in. It'll flash until it's fully charged. I believe it's going to be solid green. Okay, very simple. All right, so let's see if we could pick these up with you know, the vacuum on a medium. All right, so let's go ahead and try it on turbo, see if it makes any difference. This thing is super, super powerful, and I love this. All right, so let's go over the hose. It is 8 feet long, not 7. Really like the fact that it swivels. Okay, you have an adjustment here to, you know, a little diverter for the air. You can, as you're using the tool, kind of open and close it a little bit. So they should perhaps get rid of this little notches right there, so it's a little bit harder to spin. But really like the fact that you could spin this nozzle here, so you don't put a lot of stress on your wrist. The fact that you could put your remote control magnetic on there is fantastic. I really love that. To, you know, release the attachments, super easy. And I like the fact that they do lock in. You don't have to be like pushing in and pushing out like some of the, you know, standard accessories out there with other brands. It does include an adapter from, I'm assuming it's not 1 7/8, but it's the inner part to use with other attachments, aftermarket ones, you know. So if you want to use the 1 1/4, it does come with an adapter here. Now, if you want to use it with some of the 1 7/8 standard aftermarket from, you know, other brands, it won't work. First of all, you do have the edge right here, so it won't let you put anything in this actual tip right here. So I would say add about 1.5 inches and make it standard on the outside, so that way you could use your aftermarket accessories, you know, for the unit. So it looks like Eagle uses the inner part of the 1 7/8, okay? And I love this attachment here. So as far as the other end, well made, also spins. You do have 2 locking tabs. I'll show you now how it fits on the vacuum. I really like this. If you do have, let's say, an after, you know, market hose, you know, something that you're attached to that you really like, and it's a longer hose than 8 feet, you want to use it, you can use it. It's kind of like the same diameter. But if you have some kind of tab on here to lock into your, you know, old vacuum, you're gonna have to either cut it or find another option. It won't let you insert it into this vacuum. So I'll show you in a bit, but definitely it is the same size, okay? Hose feels fantastic, it doesn't kink, really like that. You can tell it's a good quality hose, and like I mentioned, you can purchase it if in the future it goes bad. We do have this fantastic option, locks in. I mean, it is a little loose. I think it should be a little bit tighter, okay? Perhaps just, you know, 1 is sufficient, okay? But if you try to use any other hose with the little plastic tab on the side, it won't go in, it won't let you, you know, use it. So you're either cut it, like I did here with this one, cut it off, and then put it in, and you get a nice tight fit, okay? So, I mean, perhaps they could have maybe made a little notch, or maybe one of these a little bit bigger, so that way it actually accommodates for using, let's say you have a really long hose that you really like and, you know, spend a bunch of money on and you want to use it, you know, you will have to cut this little thing to put it in there. You don't want to have your remote and the tip if you're going to be doing anything with water, unless you know that there's a big space, but, you know, or if you use the actual extender, okay? So if you want to use the extender, definitely. That way you could get to the bottom of the bucket and still use your remote. All right, so automatically stops when it gets to about 5 gallons, okay? So let's see where we at now with this. And there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same scenario with the turbo option. Wow, that was really, really fast. All right, so to drain it out, you're gonna use this little drain right here. Very, very simple. Angle it a little bit. And while the water comes out, put it back, and you're good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and use the crevice tool. I mean, it's daylight now, so using the little flashlight, I don't think you're gonna really tell the difference. Right on anyway. Right now it's on medium, turbo. I also like using this little brush, okay? It's got a lot of sucking power. I like to use carpet on the back of the SUV, that way it protects the original. So I like to use a little brush to, you know, clean it up. So. All right, let's go ahead and use this tool here. Probably better for this carpet that's got a bunch of little things on it. Let's try it out. got a lot of suction power. You do get a little bit of static around it, so you get all this dirt that gets stuck to it. All right, looks pretty good. I guess I gotta clean the tool now. I can feel the static. Cool, all right, we're good. All right, so final thoughts on the Eagle 9-gallon wet dry shop vac. I really like the fact that you could buy it as a tool only option or with the battery and charger. You do got the 5-year warranty on the unit, 3-year warranty if you get the battery. You do have brushless motor with up to 110 CFMs, super strong for either wet applications or dry applications. You could put any size battery that Eagle makes, the 56 volt platform. Really like the design of all the attachments built into the vacuum itself, so that way you don't forget anything if you're out there. I would love to see some improvements, like maybe a plug-in option where you could put an extension cord just in case if you run out of batteries in a job site. And obviously the fact that you could use the battery, especially if you're in construction and there's no electricity, this thing is a beast. The design of it is rugged, wheels are solid, the locking option of the wheels, really like that. And like I say, all the attachments are built into the unit, makes it fantastic, pretty much grab and go. Really also like the option that you could clean your filter if you're out in the field. You don't have to take it out and be putting dust all over the place. You have that built-in option, especially if you're doing kind of like that dusty or drywall type of work. Now, as far as the remote control, which I really like that option, being on the actual tip of the hose, it's a great idea, but it should have like a little strap, that way you can put it on your wrist. So if you're constantly throwing down your hose, the remote could fall and break, or come off the actual tip. The tip itself, it's got a nice design to it, but I wish it would be a little longer so you could put aftermarket accessories. So if you have a ton of aftermarket accessories, you can't really use them unless you get the little adapter that it has built in for the smaller stuff. But very, very nice design. And if you have any questions or any comments, you know what to do. Don't forget to like and follow. Do check out some of our links. They do help out the channel. We're trying to grow. Can't do it without your support.